Was 76 years old. He took up the trumpet when he was 6, and it led to a lifetime of magic. He was called the King of the Trumpet, and although people identified him with New Orleans, Hirt was not just Dixieland or traditional jazz, but had a style all his own. Fellow musicians marveled at the driving power of his horn. He seemed to blow the curtains off the back of the auditorium. But when the tempo changed, the melodies flowed from a master.
Enjoy it. I like to play and see people smile. And I don't try to play up above their head. I go the way I think the audience wants me to go.
Hirt played with the greats, Sinatra, and his longtime New Orleans friend, Pete Fountain. And he relished a lifetime's worth of stories, like the one he told about playing with Ella Fitzgerald.
Ella went to hit a high note, and a bug flew in. Flew right in her mouth. You think she stopped singing? No, she said, I got a bug. She spit the bug out and kept singing. I said, oh, my man, I've seen everything now.
Hirt ran into controversy in 1983 when he complained about crime in the French Quarter and closed his club. He never reopened it, but he returned to Bourbon Street as a regular years later. He was a lover of life and lived a fast one, which brought warnings from his doctor in later years.
And the doctor said to me, hey, Jim, no more drinking. I said, your ass, no more drinking. He said, no more drinking. He said, you want to keep living? No more drinking.
Tonight, his horn is silent, but the memories live on for millions of fans. One of the little-known facts about Al Hirt is the role he played in landing New Orleans' first Super Bowl. Hirt was one of the original group that brought the Saints to New Orleans. He played at many of the early games, and he may just have sealed the deal for New Orleans when NFL owners met to pick a Super Bowl site.
The atmosphere at the NFL meeting was that New Orleans was leading the pack, but it wasn't a sure thing yet. And at that point in time, Al stood up and said, if we get the Super Bowl, if you give the Super Bowl to New Orleans, I'll play halftime before the game, whenever you say, for free. And that everybody roared with laughter, and it sort of relaxed the tension, and I think it got 1 or 2 extra votes.
Hirt was a real homebody, and despite being world famous, he tried to arrange his career with short tours. That way he could stay at home with his wife and 8 kids near the good fishing spots.
The news of Al Hirt's death spread quickly among the city's musicians. John Huffman has reaction live from the French Quarter tonight.
Nancy, when word got out in the French Quarter, we actually saw people in the streets crying tonight. Al Hirt was a beloved icon among New Orleans musicians.
Spiritual song coach, just a close walk to be everybody for Mr. Al Hirt.
At Levon Helm's club, James Andrews played a special tribute that the trumpeter called Jumbo, a funeral march to mark his passing. On Bourbon Street, a visitor from Connecticut was shocked to hear of Hirt's death.
The last time I was in New Orleans, we're down for Jazz Fest this week with the kids. The last time I was a teenager, I'm 56 now, and we saw Al Hirt and Pete Fountain perform at Famous Door.
I've been introduced to the man countless times, and he's a great musician, and we really have a terrible loss as far as Al Hirt dying today.
The music goes on in the French Quarter. Lots of younger musicians here were inspired by Jumbo. His close friend Chris Owen was with him just an hour before he died.
It's just very sad that I've lost, not only have we lost the whole world has lost a very musical talent, but I've lost a very close and dear friend.
Pete Fountain, who toured and recorded with Al, remembered him wistfully.
We've done a lot of fishing, a lot of drinking, a lot of good times together. So we miss him. I think I'm gonna go have a glass of Cavassier on him because he loved that Cavassier.
A few moments ago, we caught up with Alan Toussaint, who was a close personal friend and actually wrote Al's most famous song, Java. And here's what Alan had to say about Al.
There were no ragged edges to Al Hirt. It was very clear and precise and very soul, but his music always had a lot of feeling in it, a lot of emotion. He didn't just play notes just because they were correct. The man played with feeling all the time.
Many people tonight have noted how ironic it is that Al died during Jazz Fest week. He was a regular performer over the years at Jazz Fest. Reporting live from the French Quarter, John Huffman, Fox 8 News.
All right, John. Well, Al Hirt had a wonderful career in music. Probably his most famous song, Java, won him a Grammy. Hirt recorded more than 55 albums. 4 of them went gold, 1 went platinum. And over his career, he performed for 8 U.S. presidents and the Pope. Al Hirt, dead at the age of 76. We'll have more reaction to the loss of this music.
Fortunate man. I have had a hell of a career. I did everything there is to do.
Al Hirt's legendary music career spanned more than 50 years, but his life with the trumpet began at the age of 6.
I became fascinated with the horn, and I said to the old man, would you get me one of those? And he said, sure. So he comes back with a horn that he got from a pawn shop. $5 he paid for it.
In all, Hirt recorded more than 55 albums, 4 golden records, and he achieved 21 Grammy nominations, winning 1. He even played for John F. Kennedy's inauguration.
I played for 6 presidents. I never got paid for none of the presidential gigs, but I never got paid for the Pope either.
Archbishop Philip Hannon says Hirt was thrilled when he was asked to play for the pontiff.
He said, oh, I certainly will. Thank you very, very much. And then he said, and I guarantee you that I will practice and I won't blow a false note. I said, you don't need any guarantee. He sent me the biggest bunch of flowers, the biggest floral display that I ever got in my life.
Hirt's lifelong friend and his drummer of 25 years